bring this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Looking for an adoption of the agenda. Any additions or changes?
I'd like to actually add some items to the agenda.
Absolutely. I got it. I see everyone jumping. I was like, we got it here. Do you have two that you'd like to add?
Yeah, if we can add two closed session items, 16F, advice from officials, and G, land.
Okay. Would anyone like to make the motion for the amended agenda?
I'd like to make that motion.
By Councillor Carlson.
Oh,
No,
That'd be
Councillor
Kettles.
Kettles. Thank you. Sorry. Just seen hands going up. Any questions, comments in regards to that? All in favor? So we'll add those to the in-camera.
So that was, we needed unanimous
Yeah.
consent,
Yep.
first of all, and then we needed a motion to approve the agenda now.
Okay, and then looking for a motion to approve the agenda now. Moved by Councillor Cutler. All those in favor? Good. All right. All right, moving on. Looking for an adoption from the regular meeting minutes from January 23rd, 2023.
I'll make a motion to adopt the meeting minutes from January 23rd as presented.
Thank you. All those in favor? Passed. Moving on to delegations. Claresholm RCMP Detachment. Corporal Tom Nairn, quarter Q3 report for Claresholm. Welcome. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thanks for having me. All right, so I'll just get right into it. Attached to my package here that I sent out a few weeks ago, the start of it is the letter at the beginning is pertaining to the Alberta government upgrading our current 911 operations. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert on this because I pretty much know as much as you, but it looks like it's more technologically advanced. They can pull information from vehicles in collisions, giving us better coordinates to find collisions. You can, I guess, call 911 over text now. And there's a potential to communicate to 911 operators over video conference. Other than that, that's that first letter. And then there's a little diagram, just kind of quick blurbs about the benefits of this new 911 upgrade. Next is a second letter in the package here. So we're coming to the end of our fiscal year here for the RCMP, at which time we're looking at if council either wants to keep our current community priorities or if we want to look at changing those priorities for fiscal year of 2023. Right now we have traffic safety, which involves speeding enforcement and impaired driving enforcement, crime reduction, which entails offender checks, educational media releases, and our Operation Street Sweeps we do once a quarter. Next is community relations. This is us doing foot patrols within the town, enhanced visibility shifts to help with curfew checks, condition checks, and traffic enforcement. And then meetings and presentations within the community. And then next is reduction of substance abuse, which is drug enforcement, and then getting members trained with drug enforcement training to be more efficient with those investigations. So priorities we could look at. I personally think these 4 priorities are really fitting to the community, but if so you wish to change them, we can look at, again, traffic safety, but look more maybe at seat belts or kind of things like that, or a combination of speeding, seat belts, and just general traffic enforcement. Fraud prevention, more presence in schools, or interdepartmental efforts with either bylaw or Fish and Wildlife, and then water safety, which doesn't really pertain to our area much, but. So if council could decide by the end of March and have a response to me, hopefully by letter, if you want to keep our current priorities or if you want to change, keep some or change all of them, it's up to you guys. Next is just all the meetings that myself and my colleagues have done in the community last quarter. And we'll just go to community priorities. Most priorities are on track to be fulfilled by the end of this fiscal year. The only one that's down is speeding enforcement, and that was, there wasn't a lot of members trained on radar or laser enforcement in town, only a handful of us. So it was hard to get those numbers, but I'm happy to say that I got a laser radar course ran at the end of January at the fire hall. So all members in Nanton and Claresholm are now trained on radar laser. So hopefully by the end of this fiscal year, we should see those numbers climb to our year-end goal. And impaireds are down, but I find with the new provincial laws, it's been a big deterrent of impaired driving. And it's been harder for us to get impaired since they've changed that legislation from criminal to the provincial. Just kind of more ramifications with the provincial side of things. So more of a deterrent. And then just at the end, just drug enforcement. So with results for drug enforcement, I don't know if I didn't have enough coffee when I wrote this, but there was 2 drug-related charges last quarter within the community. And recently we did a seizure of about 40 ounces of crack cocaine at a residence here a couple weeks ago. And before that, another occurrence where we seized a couple ounces of fentanyl. And then a couple members partook in training with source development, so just how to better get sources out in the community so they can get information so we can do search warrants and whatnot. And there's a couple active drug enforcement investigations currently going on with houses and whatnot in town. So still looking at those, collecting evidence in order to gain entry, right? Any questions about those? Okay. Next is crime statistics. This quarter, they look pretty favorable. We had one more persons crime over this quarter of 2021. That entails assaults, sex assaults, that kind of nature. So that's still good. Property crime was down 7%, and that entails break and enters, vehicle thefts, people going into vehicles, stealing electronics out of them, valuables. Criminal code traffic was down 45%, which is a good number. That's impaired driving causing bodily harm or death, things of that nature. And then that's really about it. Motor vehicle collisions in general were down 17% as well, which is nice to see. It was 63 this quarter of 2021, whereas this last quarter is 52. So that's a nice change. Any questions about those stats?
These stats, are these Claresholm, Nanton together, or is this strictly Claresholm?
Strictly Claresholm, yeah.
920 criminal code traffic, or provincial code traffic, just in Claresholm over the year?
So that's us writing tickets. That's, yeah, any ticket kind of generates the provincial code traffic. Yep. All right, so I'll get into staffing here. So I know the last couple times I've been here, it's been kind of dismal, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel here. Next month, we have a constable who lateraled from Kananaskis Detachment. He's starting March 4th in town here. So he's going to fill that 5th constable spot that was vacant. And then we have a potential sergeant coming to Claresholm here. It's a promotion, so there's still a few more steps he has to achieve, but hopefully he'll be here late spring. We'll see. And then we're still hubbed with Nanton, which is the detachment I'm in charge of. We're still hubbed and sharing resources with each other, manpower and schedule and whatnot. But with that being said, Corporal Orston is retiring now, so we will be losing him shortly, unfortunately. So, but and really that's it for the package. Unless there's any questions, I'll get into some highlights of this last quarter. All right, so like I said, I had that radar laser course that I had run at the end of January, so members are trained on radar laser, so that's good. Over the holidays, we joined up with Students Against Drunk Driving, and implemented this liquor bag campaign within town. So Sadwood gave us about 100 paper bags. We took them to local elementary schools between here and Stavely, had the youth draw anti-drinking driving slogans on the paper bags, and then we handed them out to participating liquor stores in town here. And as far as I know, it was well received within the community. And then a couple weeks ago, we did Operation Cold Start about 2 weeks ago. So this is a kind of provincial project where the province will pick a cold week that's forecasted being probably below -15. The idea is the police will go out, will look for vehicles that are running early in the morning, people heating their vehicles, getting ready to go to work or whatever, and looking for vehicles that are A, unlocked, and B, have keys in the ignition if they aren't auto start. So we found 10 vehicles within town that were unlocked with keys in the ignition. So we handed out pamphlets to the owners of the vehicles, just kind of advising them how that act can open them up for victimization, right? Criminal activity, because it could have a vehicle running, could be 2 seconds parked outside and it could be gone, right? So, and that's really about it.
I have one question for you.
Yes.
I just wanted to know, because I know previously you had done the catalytic.
Catalytic, yeah.
Thank you. That's a hard one for me. Project within town, and I was just curious to see how that went. Is that still a problem, or is that a project that's currently happening?
Yeah,
or?
so sorry, that's one project I forgot here. So I did implement that last quarter. It was 5 shops that volunteered to partake in it. So it was, the goal of the project is to, I guess the shop's doing an oil change on the vehicle or some simple fix like that, and they have the vehicle up on a hoist, they'll engrave the last 8 numbers of the vehicle's VIN number into the catalytic converter of the vehicle, because it's a hot commodity for theft. They range anywhere from $12 to $2,000 street value, right? And it's a 5-second crime to cut them off with a battery-operated Sawzall. So I implemented it, and then a month after, I followed up with the shops, and one shop, it was their busy season for changing winter tires over, so they couldn't get around to implementing it. There was a couple other shops that just didn't see any importance behind it and thought it was a waste of time. Pretty much it's Dodge and One Shot Auto that are still running the program, and they've had good luck with it so far. And thank you to the town for helping me out with that project as well with the engravers.
Thank you.
All right.
Any other questions? No? That's all you had for us?
That's all I had. Short and sweet, yeah.
Thank you for coming in tonight. We
You betcha.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
We will talk soon. All right. Moving on to our action items. Correspondence, Joe Cece, MLA for Calgary Buffalo and critic for municipal affairs. RE Alberta Budget 2023. Abe?
Yeah, just some correspondence from the critic for municipal affairs in the province, Joe Cece. The budget is, provincial budget is set to be released soon, and it's just reaching out to Albertans to seek their input and priorities, municipal priorities. So he's reached out. You can contact him at his email address or his phone number.
Any discussion in regards to that? I'll take that for information. Moving on to number 2, correspondence. Mayor Sheila Gilmore, Town of Fox Creek, ambulance service. Abe?
More municipal correspondence regarding the ambulance service in the province. This one from the Town of Fox Creek in response to some correspondence they received from the Town of Ponoka, just expressing concerns about wait times and potential wait times for ambulances and ambulances leaving the communities. The councils in the MD, including this council, recently approved firefighters, the medical first response program to actually transport critical medical patients. Other than that, there hasn't been a lot of direction from council on this medical first response program.
Open it up for discussion. Any comments in regards to this? I think it's a concern for everyone, but we'll take it for information. Move on. Correspondence. Land Property Rights Tribunal, Notice of Intent to Annex, Acknowledgement. Abe?
Yeah, so we have sent out a notice of intent to annex lands on the west of town. Council approved that decision or motion recently within the last couple of months. So the process is that we sent a letter of intent, a notice of intent, and they're just acknowledging the Land and Property Rights Tribunal is just acknowledging it's a kind of a generic correspondence item, directing our attention to the application package, and there's several items that have to be taken care of. So ORSC and our development office, as well as the MDs, are working through that application process. That will include public engagement and, again, a number of other items that have to be considered.
Any questions or concerns in regards to that? I'll take it for information. Moving on, number 4, correspondence. Farm Safety Center, Safety Smarts Program. Abe?
Yeah, so the Farm Safety Center does a number of safety initiatives for individuals throughout rural Alberta. They have a program where they go into schools and teach safety to children throughout the province. Safety Smarts program is what it's called. They also have general rural health initiative that promotes well-being for adults and safety and whatnot. So we have contributed to this initiative several times in the past and did last year as well. It was 300 last year. It looks like they're asking for anywhere from 350 to 500 this year.
Open it up for discussion. Any comments in regards to this? Quite a bunch tonight. No, just quite a bunch tonight. Councillor Cutler.
Our budget for donations has been depleted and exceeded, I believe. Is that correct?
Well, we're into a new year now, so this would be one of the first requests that we've, in the past though, it has last year.
So our fiscal year is January to January?
Mm-hmm.
Why? I thought it was April to April. So we have a new budget for donations now?
Yes.
Started again. Thank you for that clarification. I would like to make a motion to donate $350 to the Safety First program.
All right. Moved by Councillor Cutler. Question?
Moved by Councillor Cutler to support the Farm Safety Center's delivery of the Safety Smarts program to children in Claresholm schools in the amount of $350 for 2023.
Any further questions, comments, concerns in this? All those in favor? And opposed? 3 opposed, motion passed. Moving on, correspondence, Stavely Elks and Royal Purple, RE 2023 Canadian Curling Championship. Babe?
Yeah, I have a request here from the Stavely Elks and Royal Purple. They're hosting curling championships as the host lodge. They'll be having it in Stavely and in Claresholm as well. And so they have requested some funding for that event in the amount of $450, which would go towards ice rental.
Open it up for discussion.
I'd like to make a motion to donate the $450 towards the ice rental for the curling championships.
Moved by Councillor Zimmer. Question?
Moved by Councillor Zimmer to support the Stavely Elks and Royal Purple's 2023 Canadian Curling Championship event with a donation of the amount of $450 to help cover the cost of ice rental.
Yep. Any further questions, comments, concerns? Councillor Kettles.
Does anybody know, would this be dollars that then we are presenting to the curling club to cover the ice rental? Because we don't directly charge ice rental at the curling club. Am I right on that?
We just go to the group and then that would.
It would just, so it'd be hard dollars we're donating to the group so they could fund that. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or concerns? All those in favor? Passed with no opposed. Moving on, correspondence, Municipal District of Willow Creek number 26, notice of public hearing, proposed bylaw 1943. Abe?
Yeah, so the MD has sent out notice of a public hearing, a proposed bylaw amendment. The main purpose is to add provisions to the bylaw regarding defining distinct categories of wind and solar development, both for personal use but also for kind of industrial, commercial uses as well. And so looking to provide clear standards of development and conditions that may be placed on approved developments. So just looking to guide those kinds of projects in the MD. And so the town was circulated on this because we do have land out near the airport, which is potentially some of the areas that may be affected. Also, I think just as a neighborly thing, they sent out to probably all the municipalities in the MD as well. This was discussed at the MPC meeting on Friday. I'm not sure if there was any additional or thorough discussion on the matter. I know that our ORSC, our planner, and our development officer don't have any concerns with this.
Open it up for discussion.
The MD's just doing. The MD's doing this so they get they get a seat at the table. Because right now, Alberta Utilities Commission says yay or nay, right? They decide. So the MD, they were told, you need a bylaw. Gets you a seat at the table to express their opinions.
And this is obviously an open public hearing for people to go and express their concerns, correct? To to take place on
February 22nd.
22nd at 1 p.m.
Yeah, at the council chambers at the MD.
Sorry. Any other comments in regards to this? I'll take it for information. Moving on, correspondence, Town of Claresholm Economic Development, letter of support for MD of Willow Creek application. Dave?
So we provided a letter of support to the MD's application to the NRED program, which is Northern and Regional Economic Development Program. They also provided a letter of support to our application as well. And just pulling that up here, bear with me. They are applying to receive funding for promotional videos, trying to attract investment and interest in emerging markets. And so we just being a good neighbor and not necessarily a collaborative effort, but a spirit of collaboration, provided a letter of support to their application.
Okay. Any comments in regards to that? Nope. Take it for information. Moving on, number 8, request for decision, the Range Gravel Road Experience. Dave?
So if you recall last year, we had a bike race that we were able to work with the MD and a group of race organizers to have a gravel race in the town and primarily out in the MD. There was a few requests that this group had for us that we helped out with last year. They're basically asking for the same thing again. But the race went very well. We got a lot of positive attention for the region. And I'm told that they did, I believe, 250 riders last year. They're doing 300 this year. They sold out their spots within 5 hours of registrations opening. So that's a good sign. I'll just go over the list of asks here for the town to use the Centennial Park Campground to stage the start and finish lines of the event. Shower use with a fee of $5 has been requested again, so the riders can use it after they finish the course. Reservation of campsites for the event up until May 31st, 2023. Similar request previously. They have requested 8 treed campsites, sites 4 to 11 for their volunteers, and barricades, no parking signs, tables and chairs, and pylons. We assisted them with all those things last year as well. And then a request to hold a beer gardens from 2 to 7 in Centennial Park. So this event is scheduled to go on July 22nd, and again in the Centennial Park area.
Okay. Open it up for discussion.
I'll make the first motion.
Moved by Councillor Cutler. Question?
Moved by Councillor Cutler to hold the start and finish line and staging area for the Range Gravel Experience event, July 22nd, 2023 at Centennial Park Campground, to reserve 8 treed sites for volunteers and to reserve campsites for the event up until May 31st, 2023, and to set a $5 shower fee for riders at Centennial Park Campground after finishing the gravel road race.
Okay. Any further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Passed. Looking for second motion for barricades and parking signage. Moved by Councillor Carlson. Question?
Moved by Councillor Carlson to provide barricades and parking signage and tables and chairs as required for the Range Gravel Experience 2023 event.
Any further questions, comments, concerns? All in favor? Passed. And looking for a third motion for the beer gardens.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Councillor Schlossberger. Question?
Moved by Councillor Schlossberger to approve the Claresholm Skate Park Association to host a beer gardens in Centennial Park from 2 to 7 p.m. on July 22nd, 2023, provided that they secure all required licensing and approvals.
Any further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Passed. All right. Moving on, request for decision, Claresholm Weekly Market request. Abe?
So council has received some correspondence from some individuals looking to put on a summer market in town. This is not the traditional farmers market. It's a different group that we've had in town. And so they have actually requested to use Admonson Park at the same time and dates that the farmers market normally uses it at. So we haven't heard yet from the Claresholm Farmers Market regarding their interest in the season, the farmers market season, and using Admonson Park. However, we would suggest, because we haven't, that we actually reach out to both groups and try to get them together, get them on the same page, to see if we can create a schedule for summer markets whereby both groups can use the park. And we have attached our policy on here that provides decision-making over park usage for nonprofit groups. Basically, administration has the ability to make that. So we're recommending that council allow us to reach out to these groups and see if we can coordinate, again, a summer schedule where both groups can use the park. If there are any wishes for the park, if council's okay with this, if there are any wishes or requests, just let us know, and we'll try to take those things into consideration.
Open it up for discussion. Councillor Kettles.
Please make all these people happy.
Yeah, I don't have anything, and you're looking for a decision, or you're just looking for
Yeah, just looking for a
guidance?
motion just to direct us to work with these groups to make them happy,
Okay.
as Councillor Kettles has said.
Okay, so moved by Councillor Kettles. Question?
Moved by Councillor Kettles to direct administration to work with both market groups to establish a summer market schedule at Admonson Park.
All right, any further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Passed. Moving on, request for decision, letter of support, Skate Park Association. Gabe?
Yeah, we have a request here from the Skate Park Association. As you know, council, there is a project in the works. They've been fundraising for several years, and as part of their ongoing fundraising for the skate park, they are planning to submit to a Co-op Community Spaces grant, which awards $1 million to projects across the Western Canada each year, and supplies up to $150,000 per project. So at this point in time, they're just asking for a letter of support. They will submit the application themselves. There is a note in here that they may ask for a little bit of in-kind labor as a part of the work if they're successful, and that way they would be able to allocate more of the funds to the actual project costs. But that request is not, it's not before you at this time. It's just to write a letter of support right now.
Open it up for discussion.
I think they need all the support they can get. Let's do it.
Would you like to make that motion?
Sure, I will.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Meister. Question?
Moved by Councillor Meister to write a letter of support towards the Claresholm Skate Park Association's application to the Co-op Community Spaces Grant for the purpose of constructing the skate park at 111 55 Avenue West, the site of the new multi-use facility in which the town has allocated land for the skate park construction.
Any further thoughts, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Passed. Moving on, request for decision, 2023 Spring Municipal Leaders Caucus. Gabe?
So there is, Alberta Municipalities holds yearly events, and where they invite municipalities and elected officials to come and discuss relevant issues and advocate for municipalities. Last year at the Spring Municipal Leaders event, Councillor Councillor Carlson and the mayor attended. We do have budget money set aside for council to attend these events, members of council to attend these events. The costs down here for registration are available for your calculating brains. And there is also a municipal leaders, a president's summit, which I think is new this year. That will go at the beginning of the municipal leaders event. And with a focus, that one's going to have a focus on intermunicipal collaboration. At the time of when I last looked at the website, there wasn't an agenda available, so I don't know what the other items are. But yeah, that event happens March 30th and 31st with the Municipal Leaders Summit, 29th and 30th.
Open it up for discussion. I am working those days, so I'm not able to get that off if someone else is looking to attend and represent us.
I think that the President's Summit would be a good thing to attend as well, just on top, because there's that priority talk about the intermunicipal collaboration process, I think, which is vital for the MD in the town. And I would be willing to attend that 4 days, 29th, 30th, and 3 days.
I think we sent 2 last year. I think we're looking for 2 as well, if anyone else thinks it'd be beneficial to attend.
I found it beneficial. I can't commit to the dates right now, though, but if I can check back with you.
You need motions for who we'd like to send.
Those are the only 2. We can have a motion to approve both of you in the hopes that Councillor Carlson can attend.
All right. Would someone like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Councillor Kettles. Question?
Moved by Councillor Kettles to approve Councillors Carlson and Cutler to attend the 2023 Alberta Municipality Spring Leaders Caucus and the President's Summit on the Future of Municipal Government on March 30th and 31st, 2023.
All right. Any further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Passed. All right. Moving on. Request for decision. Stormwater Management Phase 2. Abe.
Sorry, just real quick, I'm not sure if I mentioned that there is virtual attendance to that conference as well. If anybody can't make it up, wants to go, it's reasonably priced. We just reach out and we can hook you up with a registration.
All right. Anyone now would like to attend virtually before we move on? All right, let's move on then for request for decision for the Stormwater Management Phase 2.
Okay, so we're looking at proceeding with stormwater management, Phase 2 of that project. Previously, council approved the engineering on Phase 2, which, if you recall, starts off at the Centennial Park and goes north of the fire hall, and then on the west side of the fire hall, and then crosses the highway 520, and then as you can see on the drawing here, the yellow portions is where, after it crosses 520, that's where the stormwater line goes, and then then it ties in down to the Frog Creek drainage and through the golf course. That was meant to be one whole phase of the project. However, we decided to try to break it up. And because the parade staging grounds have been purchased and they needed to be serviced with stormwater capacity, we decided to just tie into and propose tying into the parade staging and do this in a phased approach. And so we budgeted $300,000 for that, which was probably too optimistic. And
A little short.
We were hoping, we didn't have the project broken up into two pieces. Also, we were hoping that we would get a little bit more contribution from the developer. But after the engineers talked it out, there was just a small portion that the developer would actually be paying for of this project. So after connecting with Associated Engineering, they have given us estimated cost for this project of $750,000. So we are hoping to get council's approval today for this project. Again, the drawings have already been done. Associated provided those for us. Those were completed under, those were grant funded under the first grant that we had. Previously, the $300,000 was earmarked to come out of utility reserves. However, we have some different scenarios here whereby, excuse me, whereby the money would come out from a combination of land and development capital reserves, MSI, or possibly the federal gas tax fund as well. The nature of the funding doesn't need to be decided today necessarily. We can talk about that at a future FIPSI, Facility and Infrastructure Planning Committee meeting. But this project does accomplish two of council's strategic priorities. The first of which is to continue on with the stormwater management plan, and the second of which is to encourage development. The developer, property owner, wants to proceed with construction in 2023 and cannot proceed if we don't install these lines.
Councillor Cutler, did you have a question?
No, I had a financial statement, but we don't have to discuss the financial statements tonight, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the actual makeup, yeah.
We don't have to do that tonight.
We don't have to, but if you have questions,
No, I just have to me, when I looked over this, I was looking at the options, and in my brain, the Water and Sewer Capital Reserve is intended for this fund, where if we start taking from the MSI and the CBF, we're taking away from other projects that we can't pull. So to me, it just makes sense to take the whole funding from the Water Sewer Capital. If we have something that comes up later in the Water Sewer that we don't have enough money, we can take from the MSI and the CBF there, right? Yeah,
yes.
so that's all. That was my only question was, that's what the reserve is intended for. That's what the reserve should be used for. That was my only statement. I just didn't see the need for the other options.
I agree.
We have signed commitments from this developer to start developing in 2023.
I don't know if we have signed commitments. We have active conversations with this landowner, developer, regular contact, so their intention is to proceed this year.
And do you mind what I add? Is that $750,000 that we would spend, is that just our portion, or will they be paying for a part of that portion as well?
They would pay for a very small part of that project.
Is it 1%, 10%?
It's only a few percent.
Okay.
Yeah. We were hoping to work with them whereby we could get a little more, but that's after the engineers got involved and looked into it, they determined that their portion for that was quite minimal. The Land and Development Capital Reserve would be another one that would be a logical fit, in my opinion. However, that's council's call. So.
No, the only reason why I made that statement was we have this reserve for a reason, for the water improvement and maintenance. If we start pulling from MSI and leaving MSI short, we can't pull from the water reserves to fix MSI projects, right, and those types of things. So I'd like to see it just strictly stay, if it's a water project or a water line project, it just stays out of the water reserve. But I'll make the motion. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I just had
No,
one.
go
I
ahead.
just had one more. Two more questions. One, if once this is approved, did it say when it expects to be started and finished, or does that depending on the developers there as well?
No, that can be tendered right away. Those it's all engineered, so we can throw that in. I'm not sure their time frame. I haven't talked to them, but that's ready to go right away. And I guess the other bonus that I didn't mention here is once we get this done, get this work done, we bought a piece of property last year Once that gets installed, we can then sell that piece of land and put that money back into the reserves as well. So this piece of land here, where the stormwater will run through, stormwater line, sorry.
I can make that motion to approve phase 2.
Moved by Councillor Cutler. Question?
Moved by Councillor Cutler to approve Phase 2 Stormwater Project as presented to be completed within the 2023 construction season and funding to be deferred to the Facility and Infrastructure Planning Committee for 2023 budget discussions.
Any further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Any opposed? No. Motion passed. Motion carried. Sorry. Moving on. 13, information brief, council committee reports. Would anyone like to elaborate on anything? No? Ticket for information. Moving on, information brief, council resolution status. Abe?
Any questions on previous direction from council?
Oh, everything will look good?
Lots of completes out there.
Questions, comments, concerns? We'll take it for information. Looking for an adoption of the information items as presented.
I'll make a motion to adopt the information items as presented.
Moved by Councillor Meister. Question?
Moved by Councillor Meister to adopt the information items as presented.
All those in favor? Passed. Moving on, looking for a motion to go in camera for personnel FOIP section 17, FOIP section, or personnel FOIP section 17, C, land FOIP section 16, D, advice from officials FOIP section 24, E, advice from officials FOIP section 24. Sorry, there's more. 16, oh no.
Yeah, F.
16F, advice from officials, FOIP section 24, and G, land FOIP section 16. So looking for that motion for 7:47 p.m.
I'll make that motion to go in camera.
Thank you. All in favor? Moving to in camera at 7:48 p.m. Thank you. Camera off. Looking for a motion to go out of camera at 9:22 p.m.
I'll make a motion to come out of in camera.
Moved by Councillor Meister. All those in favor? Passed. Looking for two motions for FOIP section 17. First, to approve the job description as presented.
Amended.
Moved by Councillor Cutler. Question?
Moved by Councillor Cutler to approve the job description as amended.
Thank you. Any further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Passed. Looking for a second motion for FOIP section 17 to approve the non-union wage grid as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Councillor Schlossberger. Question?
Moved by Councillor Schlossberger to approve the non-union wage grid as presented.
Any further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Passed. All right. Moving on to personnel FOIP section 17. Looking for a motion to adopt the job description and approve the changes to the collective agreement as discussed.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Councillor Meister. Question?
Moved by Councillor Meister to approve the job description as presented.
Any further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Passed. All right. Moving on, FOIP section 16, looking for a motion to direct administration to proceed with research.
I'll make a motion to direct administration to proceed with researching Starline Business Park development
All right.
scenarios.
Moved by Councillor Zimmer. Question?
Moved by Councillor Zimmer to direct administration to proceed with researching Starline Business Park development scenarios.
Any further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Passed. Moving on to land, FOIP section 16. Looking for a motion as discussed in camera.
I would like to make that motion.
Moved by Councillor Carlson. Question?
Moved by Councillor Carlson to direct administration to negotiate the offer to purchase Lot 66, Block 118, Plan 8010781 as discussed.
Any further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Passed. Looking for a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:24 PM. Moved by Councillor. Oh, no. Yeah, so looking to adjourn at 9:25 PM. Moved by Councillor Carlson. All those in favor? Passed. Meeting adjourned at 9:25 PM. Camera off.